marginal cost is going up. Or marginal cost is increasing. This will happen until law of diminishing marginal utility, law of diminishing marginal productivity will equal to law of increasing marginal cost. So basically what this is saying is that when marginal productivity increases, when you're getting more quantity from workers, more productivity done from workers, your cost is going down per unit. And when your productivity is decreasing, meaning you're getting less output produced from workers, your marginal cost or your additional cost is going up. So when marginal productivity is decreasing, your marginal cost is actually increasing. When employees are producing less, one employee is producing less, the additional cost of the production goes up.
Question.
Yeah.
What does the TC stand for?
Total cost. Change in total cost. The triangle is change, and quantity, the triangle means change in total cost. Think about it, it should make sense. When productivity is decreasing, cost will increase. When productivity decreases, cost will increase. When productivity increases, cost will decrease. When one person is making more products, then it's going to cost you less because he's being more productive. But the same person just makes one or nothing, then cost is higher.
Question.
Yeah.
What does that say on the bottom? Like
Law of diminishing marginal productivity, which
after the equal sign.
Law of increasing marginal cost.
Oh, okay.
So as you produce more,
You just like forgot to put the word down, so I was a bit confused.
what word down?
After the equal sign, the law of increasing marginal cost.
The increasing marginal cost. Okay. Law.
You forgot to write down law.
Law of increasing marginal cost. Sorry. Law of increasing marginal cost. As you hire more workers, eventually the additional output will decline, is equal to increasing marginal cost that as you produce less, the cost will be higher, or as you produce more, the cost will be lower. Okay. Now, let's talk about types of costs. So we talked about marginal cost. There are other types of costs as well. Fixed cost, variable cost, we mentioned total cost before. What's the formula for profit?
So that cost minus to the revenue.
Total
the
revenue minus total
the
cost. Right.
The revenue.
So types of cost. Fixed cost is a startup cost. Or sunk cost. It's the same thing. Fixed cost is startup cost or sunk cost. Fixed costs don't matter when making decisions. If fixed cost at zero quantity produced is $100, it will remain $100 for quantity 20th produced. So at zero quantity, when you're not producing anything, the fixed cost, if it's $100, even after producing like 1, 2, or 20 products, it will still be $100. Fixed costs remain the same throughout production. It's a startup cost or a sunk cost, and they do not matter when making an economic decision. Okay? Variable cost. Variable costs are operating costs. Example, electricity, cost of production, that includes employee salary, etc. Variable cost increases as quantity produced increases. Variable cost increases as quantity produced increases. So here, fixed cost remains the same even when quantity produced increased, right? Variable cost doesn't stay the same. It's variable, it changes. As you produce more, it's going to cost more because you're paying employee the salary of production, you're paying the bill for the electricity, etc. So that's variable cost. Three or four of you are just sleeping, like downright like sleeping.
Variable costs will be more like liabilities for a company, or would that be like for the products too? Like how will it
Yeah,
be
it's liability.
It's liability?
Yeah.
Could you
That's out of the scope of this class, but I think it is liability. That's more like an accounting question. Yeah.
Could you explain what the the thing says below fixed cost, if fixed at Q equals 0 is 100, it will remain 100.
When zero quantity is produced, fixed cost is 100. So even when you're not producing anything, there's a fixed cost. Fixed cost is a startup cost. So even when you're not producing anything, quantity produces 0, you still have a startup cost. Because think about it, when you're starting to build a business or anything, it takes you money to start up that business or that manufacturing plant or whatever. That's fixed cost. It's not like when you start to build a manufacturing plant, you're like producing day one. No, you're not producing, but it is costing you to make the business or to start the business. That's what fixed cost is. That even when you're selling 0 or producing 0, there's still some cost you have to pay in the beginning. It's called the startup or the sunk cost. Startup cost, fixed cost, or sunk cost, these costs don't matter when you're making an economic decision. When you're making an economic decision whether you should operate, produce, or not produce, or keep operating or not operating, or shut down your plant, what matters is the marginal cost and the marginal productivity. Yeah.
What is the variable cost like? Why isn't that just the total cost?
Why is that what?
Like the total cost, wouldn't that just include everything the variable cost?
No, total cost equals fixed cost plus variable cost. I'll give you right now.
Ah.
What's total cost is equal to. That was actually next. So total cost is equals to fixed cost plus variable cost. So if on the quiz I give you variable cost, no, if on the quiz, let's say I give you total cost and I give you fixed cost and you have to figure out variable cost, you can do that, right? By using this formula. So if I say total cost is equal to 100 and fixed cost is equal to $60, what's the variable cost? 40, right? Using this equation, you know that. Okay. Now,
Wait.
okay. You have a question?
Yeah, I think I kind of like worded my other question weirdly. What I was trying to ask is, could you explain what you meant by the second part? Like, it will remain 100 for Q equals 20.
What?
Like, the first part I understand, but...
I thought I just said that. I
understand that you said that at the quantity equals 0, then you pay 100 to like start it up. What I don't get is what 100 for Q equals 20 means.
But when you're producing 20 quantity, it's still costing you $100.
Okay. Yeah.
If fixed cost at quantity 0 is $100, it will remain $100 when you're producing quantity 20th.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Or are you just saying okay?
Kind of like a bit of both.
Okay, what's not? When you're producing nothing, it's costing you $100. That's fixed costs don't change is what I'm trying to tell you with this example.
Okay.
Fixed costs don't change. When you don't produce, like when quantity or Q is equals to 0, it will be $100. When you're producing 1, 2, or 20, or 30, or 40 quantity, it will stay $100, is what this is trying to say. Fixed cost at quantity 0 is 100, it will remain 100 for quantity 20, or any other quantity produced.
Okay.
This is just an example. It could be fixed cost, could be 1,000, 1 million, whatever, but it will stay the same. The startup cost doesn't change. Okay, so what about average fixed cost? average fixed cost is equal to fixed cost divided by quantity. Average variable cost is equals to variable cost divided by quantity. Average total cost is equal to total cost divided by quantity. Average total cost equal average fixed cost plus average variable cost.
There's two formulas for average total cost.
Yeah.
Given primary will be included in very vehicles.
What?
For example, when we are going to set up a factory in developing country, in India or in Burma, we have to pay some money to the authority. Yes, kind of for electricity or for something like that.
That's a startup cost,
A startup cost.
a fixed cost.
A fixed cost, okay.
Okay. Fixed cost examples are so for driving a car, everybody drives a car, right? Or most of us. So for driving